Yeah. Let's see. Oh, here we are. Now I'm live. It says I'm live, but nobody's
Okay.
on this.
So is it this different link? Let's see if did you create a different link or is it the same link?
It just says go live and I just press live. I don't know if it was that link that you guys put in the chat box. I don't know if it's the same one.
Usually says when we're live. So hold on. Oh, I can see you.
There people are. Hi guys. Hi Molly, how are you? Esma, hi, how are you? Thank you for jumping over. So I hope that was an informative, yes, hi Molly. I hope that was an informative interview with Rafael Tolino. He's been a longtime IRS spokesperson. He has been a colleague of mine for years, and he gave one of his first interviews about the stimulus payment and about what's been happening with your tax returns to us here at Beyond TV. And so I'm so happy that I was able to share that with some of you. So I saw in the comment section under the last video some questions that I will answer. And I don't know if any of you guys are on from the last one. But some of the questions that were asked included questions about whether we were going to get a second stimulus payment. And at this point, the answer is no. At this point, the House of Representatives have passed a bill, but the Senate has not yet passed anything. So we are waiting, and the Senate is on recess this entire week for Memorial Day, the Memorial Day holiday recess. So it's this whole week. So they are not going to be in session. And so we probably won't get an answer about whether or not the Senate plans to approve that second stimulus payment until they return next week. So hold your horses for a little while longer. So I saw that. I saw a couple of you asking about your tax return and where in the world that is. And you heard from Rafael, he said a lot of people are coming back online at the IRS. Of course, like everyone else, they were shut down. And so they had to kind of work remotely from home, which means they didn't have access to the same things that the IRS normally has access to. And so your tax return got kind of slowed up. And so now that they are returning to work, they are going to be processing those returns. Keep in mind, paper returns, if you file old paper, it's going to take a lot longer. And so as I heard Rafael say, definitely make sure that your tax payment or your tax return is filed electronically and that you have given the IRS your direct deposit information. Speaking of direct deposit information, you cannot input that direct deposit information anymore on irs.gov. That was the deadline came and went a couple of weeks ago. So at this point, if the IRS does not have a valid bank account information for you, then you're going to get a paper check. So just keep on the lookout for that, and that is going to continue to go out. Those paper checks are going to continue to go out for the next couple of weeks. You heard Rafael say. Esme says, I've gone through all the FAQs. I still can't get an answer about why I get your information is not in your records. So Esme, for you, I have seen that a bunch. And unfortunately, I think your best bet is going to be to call the IRS. Now, I wouldn't have told you to call them 2 weeks ago because nobody was there. They added 3,200 IRS representatives. They added 3,200 or 3,500, excuse me, IRS representatives to the phone lines. So I would suggest, Esme, you call the IRS and figure out what's going on. There's something wrong with your individual tax identification, how they're trying to reach you. clearly they can't. So call the IRS, and you're going to unfortunately have to wait quite a while. But I have heard from hundreds of people from TikTok, they have said that they've gotten through. So it might take you a while. You may be on hold for an hour, but try calling the IRS and see if they can figure out what's going on and why they can't identify your Social Security number with your name and your stimulus payment. Jeff, I saw you're on SSI disability and have a direct deposit on a 9 filer, but nothing yet. Okay. No, you're not lost in the system. I did see recently the IRS put out a graph for SSI and a first round of payment May, and then saw another round is scheduled to go out on the 27th of May, which is tomorrow. So you might get an update tomorrow on your SSI and your payment there. So if it doesn't happen then for the rest of the next couple of months, so it might take a while still. If you don't get it if you don't see any status change on your IRS, and I know it's going to be a pain in the ass to sit there, but try early in the morning, right when they open, and maybe you won't wait as long, but I've heard the waits are quite long to get somebody on the phone. But once you do, I have also heard that people have gotten their issues resolved. So no, Jeff, you did not get, I'm sure, as long as you're qualified, I'm sure you did fall through the cracks. So like I said, another round of payments I saw should be going out on the 27th. So hopefully that status change will happen for you tomorrow. If not, I would suggest calling. Isabel, I need an address to send back a stimulus check. Oh, okay. On irs.gov, Isabel, and good for you. I should mention that. Good for you in returning the payment. Deceased, if you received a stimulus payment for a deceased person, so you perhaps were a guardian or you looked over a parent who has passed away and you received incorrectly a stimulus payment for somebody who is deceased, you will get a big tax bill for it. So, Isabel, the place where you go, there is on irs.gov, and through my TikTok, I have a video specifically about how to find the address.gov. I think it's under FAQ, if I remember correctly, under the FAQ page, like for number 42 or 48. I have the exact instructions on my TikTok page. So go there. But there is under the FAQ on irs.gov, there is a link for specific addresses to the IRS for you to return that check. So good job. Way to go. Yes. And Isabel, it is broken down by state. So you can look from the IRS FAQ page and you look up California, and then it'll give you the address to return that check. Let's see. Will there be another stimulus check? I answered this before, but I will answer it again. At this point, the answer is no. At this point, the House has passed the HEROES Act, which I have documented on the TikTok page. But at this point, the Senate has not passed that bill. And at this point, the Senate has no intention of passing the HEROES Act as it's written now. So, and fun fact, because of the Memorial Day holiday, this is the annual recess for the Senate and for the House, even though the House is coming back for 2 days this week. But the Senate is not in session. So there is no way to negotiate that bill, to pass that bill, to make any changes to that bill or any corrections. So at this point, there is no. Now, senators have said that they are perhaps cooling to the thought and maybe thinking a little bit more about an additional stimulus package. What it looks like, I have no idea. But if I were to bet on it after all of these years watching politics, I would not think that what the House passed will pass in the Senate. So at this point, no additional stimulus check at this point. Naomi, I filed my taxes February 7th. It still says processing, but still no payment. Okay, Naomi, I don't know if you were with us watching Raphael's interview on the IRS. If you haven't, go back to Beyond TV's YouTube page. He did answer that question. The IRS, just like everyone else, was in shutdown mode because of the coronavirus. So nobody was able to go into the IRS and use the systems and process even regular tax returns the way they normally do. So everything is slowed up. If you had a paper filing, forget it. It's going to take a lot longer than it normally does. So Raphael says now that everybody's started to come back to work at IRS, now those tax refunds are going to be they're going to speed up the process. So hopefully you'll see a change. Go to irs.gov. There is a check my refund button. It might still say processing, but that could change. So just keep checking it, because now that everybody's kind of come back to work, they're going to start to process those even more. Jamil, divorced with 3 kids living with me. I claimed they lived here year round, but ex received one for the kids. They visit her 2 months a year. So Jamil, I'm not sure what you're asking. Whoever claimed the kids got the dependents, $500 dependent, and that's how that works. So you'll have to work it out with your ex. You're welcome, Jeff. Let's see. Yes, Kai, exactly. Kai said the IRS picking up the phone. Yes. So as of last week, they added 3,500 people to the phones to answer questions. It's going to take a while. I've heard a lot of people waiting on hold for hours, but they have gotten through to a human being and they have gotten their issue resolved. So definitely try that. Desiree, I did not get my stimulus check. A lot of people haven't gotten their stimulus check. There's still a couple million people that need to still receive theirs. So hang tight. It could take months still to get it. And just so we're clear, there is one and only one stimulus check. There is not more than one at this point. There could be one down the road, but at this point, not so much. Let's see. Kai thanks Kai for putting that phone number in there. He put an IRS phone number in the chat box if you wanted to use that. Dependents, however, did not receive the money for the youngest, but did for the oldest. Okay, so Lilette, I think is your name. Hi. So your boyfriend filed for your kids as dependents, and he claimed them as dependents tax, and he got the $500 stimulus for one, but not for the other. So the IRS, especially during you have to make sure that your kids qualify. So first check and make sure that your kids are dependents. So they have to be under the age of 16 at the end of the tax year in order to qualify. So if that checks out, and perhaps maybe it was a young child, so it's like, one of the kids is 1, the IRS could be going off of your 2018 return where that child wasn't born yet. So the IRS doesn't know about it, that child. So the remedy for that is, according to Raphael at the IRS, Raphael Tuhelino, who was in that Q&A here on Beyond TV's YouTube page that we put a little bit ago. What you need to do is on your 2020 tax return, when you file in 2021, you need to claim that child and that you were missing that stimulus payment, and you will get your extra $500 at that point. But right now, there is no way to fix that or get the money now. I think that everybody, if you have any other questions for me, to page and check out the Q&A with Raphael Tuhelino with the IRS for all of your information. He gave really good answers that are very, very helpful to try and get us through all of this time right now. And then there is a separate interview with Raphael that has some expanded questions and some other bonus material with him. So you can also check out Beyond TV's YouTube page for that. Always subscribe to TV and watch Carlos and Lisa and watch us. And thank you for being a part of this today. It was fun to talk to you guys. If you have any other questions for me, I'm around. You can message me on TikTok, message me here, message me wherever. I'm available pretty much everywhere. So thank you.